Hey guys, welcome to the topic for today. It is factorials and progressions. And this video is produced by Six Phrase the Finishing School. These are some of the upcoming videos from Six Phrase, so you can expect them very shortly. So we start with numbers and factorials. Uh, I want you to get a basic understanding of what factorial is, because it is not only used in numbers topic. Factorial is a very important concept when it comes to permutations and combinations and other things. Okay, and if you are like interested in coding, and if you will be doing coding, right, you'll be doing C coding and stuff like that. There, you will find factorials useful. Okay, so factorials is a very important topic by itself. Anyway, now when we say n factorial, whenever we say n factorial, what we actually mean is we are actually trying to say 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 till n. Okay, so in other words, so n factorial can be uh, defined as the product of all numbers from 1 to n. For example, if I told you 1 factorial, it is 1. If I told you 2 factorial, it is 1 into 2. Right? It starts from 1 till n. So here n is 2. So it starts from 1 and goes to till 2. 3 factorial means it goes from 1 to 3. 4 factorial means it goes from 1 to 4. Okay, 5 factorial, it goes from 1 to 5. 6 factorial, it goes from 1 to 6. So n factorial in general is the product of all numbers from 1 to n. Okay, so you have to product them all. Okay, if you product them all, you will get, so 6 factorial is 720, 5 factorial is 120, 4 factorial is 24, 3 factorial is 6, and 2 factorial is 2. Okay, now 7 factorial likewise is 5040. Okay, and so on and so forth. So guys, this is factorials. So whenever we say factorial, whenever we, and more specifically whenever we say n factorial, what we try to say is we have to multiply numbers starting from 1 till n. Okay, now the number of zeros at the end of the product of numbers, since we are talking about product of numbers, so one, what did I say, n factorial is nothing but the product of 1 to n, right? So since we're talking about it, we'll see when do we get zeros. So there will be questions where people ask you how many zeros are there in the product of 50 factorial, how many zeros are there in a product of 70 factorial, because 70 factorial is product of some number, right? Or how many tens are there in a product of numbers starting from 50 to 100. There is a product, right? So there will be certain zeros. How do you find zeros? For that, you have to understand this. For a product of numbers to have a zero, the product must have at least 1 2 and at least 1 5. See, why do I say at least? I say at least because only a product of 2 and 5 can give you a 10. There is no other number which can give you this 10. Okay, only a product of 2 and 5. Either one of them is not sufficient. Both of them are required. Okay, just 2 won't give you 10, just 5 won't give you 10, but the product of 2 and 5 will give you 10. Okay, now why are we interested in 10? Because if there is a 10, it means there is a 0. Okay, whenever there is a 10, there is a 0. So depending upon the numbers of 5s and 2s in the product, we'll decide if the number of zeros which are in the product. Okay, so guys, you must understand this correctly. Let us suppose there are 3 2s. Okay, there are 3 2s in the product and there is only 1 5. Okay, there is only 1 5. Now, how many zeros can we expect in this product? So, only this 2 and 5 can form a product and form a 10, right? So, here and here, you cannot form a 10 because there is no 5 here. There is no 5 here. Okay, so even though there are 3 2's, the number of zeros dependent on what? It dependent on the number of fives alone. Okay, so that is the case always. Okay, mostly when you are given the product, the number of twos will be always be greater than number of fives. Okay, so in that case you just have to find the number of fives. You find the number of fives, what will happen is you will know the number of zeros. Okay, so we will move on. So examples, I'm going to give you some examples. Now let's just look at these numbers, guys. Very interesting. Okay, 40 is nothing but 2 cube into 5. 270 is nothing but 2 into 3 cube into 5. 140 is nothing but 2 square into 5. All these numbers, what is common in all these numbers? Can you spot it? All these numbers have a 0. Okay, so you can see there is 2 and 5. Okay, here you can see there is 2 and 5. Okay, here again 2 and 5, here again 2 and 5. And did you notice one thing? Yes, in the first three cases, how many zeros are there? 1 0. But in this case, how many zeros are there? 2 zeros. Okay, here we have 1 0. Okay, and here we have 2 zeros. Right, guys? Now, I told you the zeros depend on 2 and 5, that we established here, because you can see 3 zeros here, and sorry, you have 1 0 in each of these three numbers, and you can see the corresponding 2's and 5's here. Okay, you can see there is 2's and 5's, that is why we have zeros. Watch this closely. How many zeros are there here? Here there are 2 zeros, so there must be 2 2's and 2 5's. So can you see 2 2's and 2 5's here? Yes. Here there is only 1 5. Here there is only 1 5. Here there is only 1 5. Yes. Here 1 5 1 0. 1 5 1 0. Here 1 0 1 5. Okay. So 5 and zeros correspond, guys. So whatever is your number of 5's will usually be the number of zeros. Okay. In most cases that will be the here 2 5's, so 2 zeros. Okay. Like I told you, here you can see 3 2's. Even though there are 3 2's, only 1 2 can form a pair with this 5. So 1 0. Here 1 2 1 5. Here even though there are 2 2's, only 1 2 can form a pair with this 5 because only 1 5. So your 5 zeros directly depend upon the number of 5's. Okay. Now look at these numbers. What is interesting about these numbers? Did you note it? Yes. Yes. They don't have any zeros. Okay, all this number don't have any zeros. Do you find a 2 and a 5 combination here? You will never find a 2 and a 5 combination here, guys. 97 is a prime number. You cannot subdivide it into factors. Okay, so don't think that I just put 97 there. 97 is a prime number. Okay, so I've divided it into composite, prime factors. So there should be 2 and 5. If we have 2 and 5, we'll get it here. Okay, so we don't have. Here we have 5, but there is no 2, right? Here we have 2, but there is no 5. Here also we have 2, but no 5. Okay, so these are numbers without zeros. Okay. So all these have 2 and 5. All these don't have 2 and 5. There cannot be a 0 in a number without a combination of a 2 and a 5 in its product. Number of zeros in 14 factorial. Guys, you know the number of zeros. So let's first understand 14 factorial. I told you n factorial is nothing but product of 1 to n. Okay. So similarly, 14 factorial starts from 1 and 2, 3, 4 till 14. Okay. So this is 14 factorial. Okay. Now what you have to find is you have to find the number of zeros in this 14 factorial, or you have to find the number of zeros in this product. Okay. That is what they are asking you. Now, how do you find the number of zeros? You have to look for the number of 2's and 5's, because 2 into 5 makes a 10, right? So you have to look for 2's and 5's, okay? And I told you number of 2's will always be greater than number of 5's, okay? Number of 2's will always be greater than number of 5's. So what happens here is, if you find the number of 5's in this 14 factorial, that will tell you the number of zeros, okay? So what we'll do is we'll find the number of 5's. But before that, I've given you how to find number of 2's, okay? Sorry guys. So to find how do you find number of 2's? We'll see that first. Now there is a product. Watch this carefully, okay? I want to find how many 2's are there in this product, okay? Then we'll find the number of 5's. First we'll find the number of 2's, okay? This will help you in other problems, okay? Guys, here there is 1 2. Am I right? Here there are two 2's. Here there are two 2's. Here there is 1 2. Then here there is 1 2. 6 is nothing but 2 into 3. Here there is 1 2, right? Because 8 is nothing but 2 into 4. Here there is 1 2. Here there is 1 2. Here there is 1 2. Okay. Now 14 factorial is a small number, okay? So you can do it like this, okay? So you can count like 1 plus 2 is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 2's. You can count it like that. But 14 factorial is small number. Sometimes they'll give you 140 factorial. Sometimes they might give you 270 factorial. Will you be expanding everything and be counting 1, 2, 3, 4? It is impossible. So we need a formula for it, right? See, it is very easy to do it. The way you find the number of 2's or number of 3's or number of 4's or the number of any digit, okay, for that matter, the number of any digit in a factorial, okay, here it is 14 factorial. So the number of 2's, the rule applies for all the digits, okay? It is not only for 2's. What you do is take this number divided by 2. What will you get? 7, right? Take plus, you take again this 14 and divide it by 2 square, okay? Now what do you get? 14, if you divide 14 by 2 square, what do you get? Yeah, what do you get? 2 square is 4, right? So 14 by 4 is actually 3, okay? 14 by 4 is actually 3, okay? And just writing the quotient. Now 14 by 2 cube, okay? What is 14 by 2 cube? It is 1, okay? So the total number of 2's will be nothing but 11. There are 11 2's. But sir, you said something like 8 or 9 something. We did not get 11 here. 1 plus 2 is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just got 8, right? So where are the remaining 2's? Okay, so I'll tell you where the remaining 2's are. Okay. Guys, while counting, we made a mistake. Okay, I don't know if you spotted it or not. Okay. How many 2's does 8 have? Is it 1, 2? I said 2 into 4, right? What is this 4? This 4 is nothing but 2 into 2. So this 8 has actually 3 2's. Okay? This 8 has actually 3 2's. So we'll count it again. Okay? So 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. Yes? See, 12 is nothing but 4 into 3. How many 2's are there in 4? So this is actually 2. Okay? So this is the reason why counting like this becomes a big problem. Okay? So it is easy to do it this way. This is a more easier way of doing it. But I'll tell you what this means. What is 14 by 2, 14 by 4, 14 by 8, what it means. Okay? And why did I stop at 14 by 8? Why not 14 by 2 power 4? Why didn't we move on and do this 14 by 2 power 4, 14 by 2 power 5? Why didn't we do this? I'll tell you the reason. Okay. See, I'll first tell you. See, here there is 1, 2. So I've written 1. Here there are two twos. Here 1, 2. Here there are three twos because 2 into 2 into 2 is 8. Here there is only 1, 2 because 2 into 5. Here there are two twos because 12 is nothing but 4 into 3. Yes, 12 is nothing but 4 into 3. What is 4? 4 has how many twos? 2 twos. 14 is 2 into 7, so 1, 2. So you add all of it. 1 plus 3, 4, 7, 8, 10, 11. So 11. So that is the 11 that we get here. Okay, 7 plus 3 plus 1. We get 11, right? So this 11 is this 11 that we get here. Okay, so how does this count and this count are equal? Okay, so watch this carefully, I'll tell you. Now when you do 14 by 2, what you are doing is you are capturing the twos here and here, 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 here. How many twos did you capture? Only 7. Okay, when you do 14 by 2, you capture 1 2 in alternate terms. Okay, so 1 2 here, 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 and 1 2 here. Okay, so that is why we have the 7. Okay, when you do 14 by 4, okay, you do 14 by 4, guys, there are two twos here. Out of the two, only one was captured here, right? So how many twos is remaining here? You have one remaining. Here you have two remaining. Here again you have one remaining. Okay, so this, the numbers in circle are the remaining twos. Okay, after 14 by 2 is done, these are the remaining twos. Okay, so when you do 14 by 2 square, it will capture the 2 here, it will capture the 2 here, and it will capture the 2 here. Okay, so how many? 3 twos. Yes, 3 twos, 1 2, 1 2, 1 2. Now when you do 14 by 2 cube, okay guys, see, if 1 goes, this will become 0, 1 goes, this will become 0, but we have 2 here. So if you take 1 out of it, you still have 1 remaining. To capture that 1 2, we do 14 by 2 cube. Okay, so 14 by 8, we get 1. Okay, so this is the reason why we do this type of arithmetic. Okay, and the reason why we don't do 2 power 4 is, guys, 2 power 2 cube is 8. Okay, 8 is less than 14. Okay, but when you do 2 power 4, what is 2 power 4? It is 16, right? So 16 is greater than 14. So you have to do this only till this denominator is less than the numerator. Okay, once the denominator becomes greater than the numerator, you it means you don't have to write the term. Okay, this term is not required. Okay, so you understand this thing? Yes. So if you don't understand this, I want you to like rewind this video and watch it again, because this is the very basis for what we are going to do in the future problems. Okay, now, so to find the number of twos, I do 14 by 2 plus 14 by 2 square plus 14 by 2 cube. Okay, it says here, right? See, 14 by 2 captures twos in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, a total of 7. Okay, 14 by 4 captures twos in 4, 8, and 12, a total of 3. And 14 by 8 captures twos in 8, a total of 1. Okay, so you can see I told you in 8 how many twos are there? 3 twos are there. So the first 2 is caught here, second 2 is caught here, third 2 is caught here. In 4s, how many 2s are there? 2, right? So first 2 is caught here, second 2 is caught here. Okay, so that is the thing that is going on here, guys. I hope you understand. Okay, in 12, how many 2s are there? 2 2s, right? So first 2 is caught here and second 2 is caught here. Okay, so making it a total of 11 2s. Okay, now remember, we don't actually need to find the number of 2s. For you to find the number of zeros, guys, don't lose sight of our question. Okay, the question actually what it wants us to find is number of zeros. Okay, but here we are finding number of twos. there is a reason why I wanted you to do it. Okay, uh, I'll be go to the reason later. Okay, but right now what I want to do is apply the same technique. Pause the video here. Apply the same technique and find the number of 5's. Find the number of 5's in 14 factorial, or find the number of 5's in this product. Okay, pause the video now and apply the same technique. Okay, and we'll come back. Okay, hope you pause the video and you have an answer. So we'll see. So to find the number of 5's, what will I do? So to find the number of 2's, I did 14 by 2, 14 by 4, 14 by 8. I won't do 14 by 16 because 16 is greater than 14. Okay. So to find the number of 5's, I will do 14 by 5. Next is 14 by 25. But why isn't 14 by 25 not mentioned here? Because 25 is greater than 14. Okay, I told you, right? So you don't need to do 5 square. Okay, guys, here it is 2 power 1, 2 square, 2 cube. You went like that, right? Similarly, you have to go 5 power 1, 5 square, 5 cube. But 14 is less than 25, or 25 is greater than 14. So this plus 14 by 5 square is not irrelevant. It is not required. Okay. So 14 by 5 captures 5's in 5 and 10. A total of 2 5's. Okay. So if there are 2 5's, how many zeros will be there? 2 zeros. Okay. So since you have only 2 5's to form product combination with 11 2's, we can have only 2 zeros. Okay guys, this is a very important concept, finding the number of zeros. Okay. Now let me try to pick your brain. Can you tell me how many 6's are there in 14 factorial? Okay, again pause the video guys and solve this. Try to solve this. See, you will have to think on your own. Only when you think about stuff, you will get comfortable with numbers or comfortable with the concept. Okay, so make sure you pause the video time to time and then start thinking about the concept that I teach. Okay, so you will, if I give you everything, then you lose your ability to think. So make sure that you pause the video from time to time and then start thinking on your own. Okay, so this is my question. You have to say, now you found out the number of zeros in 14 factorial. I want you to find the number of 6's in 14 factorial. How do you do it? Now pause the video and try it out. Okay, so I hope you at least have an idea. It's okay if you don't have an answer, at least have an idea of how you got it. Now guys, if when you wanted zeros, when will you get a zero? You will get a 0 when there is a combination of 2 and 5, right? Now when will you get a 6? When there is a combination of 2 and 3. Yes, when there is a combination of 2 and 3, you will get 6. Okay, so I've seen question papers, company questions where they ask 6's, 8's, 7's. Okay, but once you understand this concept, whatever they give you, you'll find that you can easily do it. Okay, so 6's depend on 2 and 3. Guys, now you tell me, in this product, will the number of 2's be more or number of 3's be more? Number of 2's be more or number of 3's be more? Because the 2's will always be greater than 3's. Okay, we just need to find the number of 3's alone. Okay, like what we did with 5's. Why did we not need 2? We just needed 5's, right? Yes. Why did we need that? Because the number of 3's determines the number of 6's. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have 100 2's. Okay, and but if you have only 10 3's, you can form only 10 pairs, right? Yes. So the number of 3's determines the number of 6's. So you have to find the number of 3's, guys. So how do you find number of 3's? 14 by 3 power 1 plus 14 by 3 square. Yes, I can write 3 square, right? Because 9 is less than 14. But I cannot write 3 cube because 27 is greater than 14. So I should stop here. 14 by 3, guys, is the quotient is 4. Okay. 14 by 3 square, quotient is 1. So totally I will have 5 3's. and therefore 5 sixes is my answer. Okay. Divisibility of the factorial by the largest power of any number. Okay, so just try to understand what they're trying to say. They're just putting it in a different way. It is a very easy thing. What they're trying to say is divisibility of the factorial by the largest power of any number. Okay, divisibility of the factorial by the largest power of any number. For example, which largest power of 7 can divide 350 factorial? That is their question. Okay, they are asking you what is the largest power of 7 which can divide 350 factorial. Okay, now before we move on to this, okay, I'll ask you a simple question. Okay, we have 4 factorial. Okay, what is 4 factorial? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? This is 4 factorial. Yes, n factorial is the product of 1 to n. Okay, so 4 factorial is the product of 1 to 4. Okay, now I ask you, what is the largest power of 2? What is the largest power of 2 which can divide this 4 factorial? That is my question. Okay, so what is the largest power of 2 which can divide this 4 factorial? Yes, so can I just put 2? Will it divide? Yes, of course 2 will divide. I add another 2. Will it divide? Yes, it will divide. I'll add another 2. Will it divide? Yes, it will divide. If I add one more 2, it won't divide. Okay. So, the largest power of 2 which can divide this 4 factorial is 2 cube. Yes, the largest power of 2 which can divide 4 factorial is 2 cube. Okay, guys, this is your answer. Now, for this 2 cube to be the answer, this numerator must have 2 cube. Yes, only if we have 2 cube in the numerator, you can put 2 cube in the denominator. Assume you did not have this 2. Okay, you have only this 4. So what can you put in, divide in the denominator? You can only use 2 square, right? Yes. So if they ask you what is the largest power of 7 that can divide the 350 factorial, they are indirectly asking you what is the or how many 7s are there in 350 factorial. That is what they are asking you. Okay. Yes. So this problem, for example, I can also say how many 2's are there in the numerator. If I ask you, what will you say? You'll say there is 1 2 here, there is 2 2's here, so totally there are 3 2's. Yes, that is what you will say, right? Yes. So what is the largest power of 7 that can divide 350 factorial, and what are the number of 7's in 350 factorial? Are both the same things, because only if you have 3 2's in the numerator, you can have 3 2's in the denominator. Okay, the numerator has 2 2's, you can only have 2 2's in the denominator. So the largest power of 7 that can divide 350 factorial is nothing but the number of 7's in 350 factorial. You know how to find number of 7's in 350 factorial, right? I just told you how to find it, right? That is what we are going to do. So yes, so how many 7's can divide 350 factorial? Yes, this is 350 factorial. It is the number of 7's in 350 factorial which can divide 350 factorial. Okay, so this is the key thing, the number of 7's in 350 factorial. So we set about finding the number of 7's. So this is an indirect way of asking how many 7's are there in 350 factorial. Okay, to find the number of 7's case, you know 350 by 7 plus 350 by 7 square plus 350 by 7 cube. Now why did I stop with 7 cube? Because 7 cube is 343. Okay, 7 power 4 will go beyond this. Okay, so I don't want you to go there. We don't add 350 by 7 power 4 because 7 power 4 is greater than 350. Okay, now, and it's the usual thing, 350 by 7 captures the 7's in 7, 14, 21, 28, a total of 50. Okay, now 350 by 49 captures the 7's in 49, 98, 147 and so on and so forth, a total of 7. And 350 by 7 cube captures 7s in 343, a total of 1, 2. So totally there are 58 7s in 350 factorial, which means 58 is the largest power of 7 that can divide 350 factorial. Progressions. Guys, um, we'll look at the concept of progressions. The reason is, see, progressions, we have progressions. I see applications of progressions in simple interest, compound interest. I see application of progressions in the numbers topic itself. I see application of progressions in geometry. Okay, so it is very essential that you know progressions. Okay, and a few problems of progressions. It is very application oriented. Okay, now what is a progression? Okay, so let us say we have a number. Okay, I have a number which is 3. Okay, now what happens is, guys, I have a number which is 3. I am going to increase this 3 by 2, or let's say 3 itself. Okay, increase 3 by 3, what do you get? 6, right? Now what I'll do is, to get the next term, I'll again increase it by 3. What do I get? 9. Okay, so to get the next term, again I'll increase it by 3. So what will I get? I'll get 12. Okay, now I am guessing you know what the next term is. Yes, it is 15. Okay, so the next term is 18, and this goes on like this. Okay, guys, this series of numbers, okay, this series of numbers which have a constant difference. Okay, what do I mean by constant difference? What is 6 minus 3? 3. What is 9 minus 6? 3. What is 12 minus 9? 3. What is 15 minus 12? 3. What is 18 minus 15? 3. So this series of number which have a constant difference. Okay, what do you mean by constant difference? The difference is 3 and it is constant. Okay, so for each term, for each consecutive terms that you take, okay, the difference is always constant. Okay, is called arithmetic progression. So this type of series is what we call as arithmetic progression. Here there are a couple of variables that you must know, A and D. Okay, I'll tell you what is A, what is D. Okay, now guys, any series starts with a number, right? Here we start with 3. So A is 3. Okay, the first term in a series is always A. Okay, now D is nothing but the constant difference, plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Yes, so you increased plus 3 every time, right? To go from one term to another term, you increased it by plus 3. Okay, so that will always be equal for all the terms. First term, second, third, fourth, fifth. Take any term. If you have to go to the next term, you will always have to increase it by D. Okay, so that is why the first term is A. Second term you increase it by D. Third term you increase it by 2D. Okay, because from A here it is 2 times D, right? Yes. So because from 3, if you look at this, how much is increased? You increased 6. Okay, from 3 to 9, it is 6. 6 is nothing but 2 into D. Okay, or 2 into 3. Okay, so A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D, A plus 4D, and so on and so forth. This is arithmetic progression, guys. So that all these terms are said to be in arithmetic progression as the same quantity is added to each term or value. So we call this term or value. Okay, so any which way you can call it. Okay, to get the next term or value. So you always add the same quantity. That quantity is what we call as D. Okay, the thing that you add, the thing that doesn't change. Okay, that is D. First term or value is denoted by A. I told you that, right? Now examples 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Now tell me what is A in this case. A is 1. What is D? D is 2, right? What is A here? A is 2. What is D? D is 3. Okay. What is A here? A is 4. What is D? So what plus what will give you 1? 4 minus 3 will give me 1. 1 minus 3 will give me minus 2. Okay. So here the D is negative. Okay. So A is 4. D is negative 3. In arithmetic progressions, okay, you will have questions asking you to find the nth term of the series. Okay, I told you, right, we have had a series. Okay, 1 3 5 7. This is actually a series of odd numbers, but why not take it? Okay, we can take this itself as an example. Okay, now this is the first term of the series. This is the second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term, seventh term. If you know this, you can easily find the 78th term. Okay, using this formula. Okay, so you know one is A is equal to 1, guys. What is D? D is 2. Okay, you can just apply it in this formula. So Tn is nothing but T78. Okay, which means term 78. So 78th term is nothing but A plus, okay, what is A? A is 1. Okay, 1 plus, what is n minus 1? 78 minus 1 is 77 into D. What is D? D is 2. So guys, 77 into 2, I am guessing it is 154 plus 1 is 155. So if you go like this, the 78th term will be 155. So you see the application of this formula, how easy it is to find the term. Okay, so we'll find terms like this. So I've given you a sample arithmetic progression. Guys, this is for arithmetic progression. Okay, um, here A is 4 and D is minus 3. Now if I want to find the second term, we know second term is this. Okay, we know that the second term is 1. But let us see if if this formula is working correctly or not. So the second term, so T2 is equal to A is 4 plus N is 2 minus 1, D is minus 3. What do you get? You get 1. So look at the second term, it is 1. So we got the correct answer, right? So let's check more. Let's find the fifth term and see if it is minus 8. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5. Our fifth term should be minus 8, right? So T5 is equal to 4. This is A, this is N is 5 minus 1 into D. D is minus 3. So what do we get? Minus 8. Okay, so this also we are getting. So are we checking more? Yes, we are also checking the 8th term. Okay, so what is the 8th term? We should get minus 17. So T8 is equal to 4. This is A plus N minus 1. 8 minus 1 minus 3. Okay, so and surely we getting minus 17. Okay, so finding the nth term shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure that you understand this formula. Okay, there is one more thing I want you to know. Okay guys, see, this is the formula for nth term. Sometimes you will be required to find the last term. Okay, for that you can use the same formula. Okay, the only thing is, when you find the last term, what should be n? This n should be the last term in the series. Okay, that is the only requirement. Okay, if n is the last term in the series, what do you get here? Whatever you get here is, see here, what is n, guys? N is 2. So what do you get here? You get the second term. Here n is 5, so you get the fifth term. Here n is 8, so you get the eighth term. Okay, here if the n is the last term of the series, okay, whatever that may be. Okay, let us assume series has 50 numbers. If n is 50, then whatever you get here is the 50th term, right? Yes, so if you want the last term, the same formula, use the same formula, but n should be what? N should be the total or the last term in the series. Okay, so let us see if we are able to find the last term that we are looking for. You want to find the 100th term. It means if you want to find the 100th term, it means it could be the last term, right? So what do we do? Do a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, so the 100th term, which is the last term, is minus 293. Okay. Now, sum of series. Okay, guys, when you have a series, okay, uh, the questions will be only of two types. They'll either ask you to find the 10th term, find the 20th term. Okay, they'll ask you to find the nth term, or they'll ask you to find the sum of the series. Okay, find the sum of first three numbers, find the sum of last three numbers, find the sum of middle three numbers, like this. Okay, so you will be asked to find the sum. So this formula is also very important. N by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 d. Okay. um, yes, so n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, now this is the series. Okay, guys, a is 2, d is 3. Okay, now they're asking you to find the sum of two terms of the series. Okay, now what will you do? See, they're asking you to find the sum of two terms, but sum of which two terms? This two, or this two, or this two. Which two? How do you know that? Yes, that they'll give it in the question itself. Okay, they'll say sum of first two, or they say sum of middle two, or something like sum of sixth and seventh term. Okay, something like that. Okay, the only thing that you have to do is, if they say sum of first two, a is equal to 2. This is a. Okay, if they ask you to find the sum of fifth and sixth, okay, this is fifth, that is sixth, right? Then a, this will become a. Okay, so that is the only change you will have to do. Here they are asking you to find the sum of first two numbers. So you can just take a to be that. Okay, so guys, you are finding sum of two terms. So n will be 2. So n by 2 will be 2 by 2 into 2a. Okay, so 2a is 2. I told you, right? Here we are finding the sum of these two numbers, so this will be a. Okay, so 2a plus n minus 1. N is again 2 into 3. So what you are getting here is 7. Okay, okay, so 2 plus 5 is 7, right? Yes. Now you are finding sum of two terms in a series, but this time not 2 and 5. You are going to find the sum of two terms, and we'll see. Even I am not sure which two terms it is. Yeah, we are finding the sum of these two terms. Okay, so sum of two terms in a series where, so now what will be a? This will be a. 8 will be a. Okay, so two terms, so n by 2 will be 2 by 2. Here you can see n by 2, guys. Yes, so this n indicates this 2. Okay, so n by 2 will be 2 by 2, and then 2 into a. I told you now a is 8, because we are finding some from 8 two terms. You are finding the sum of those things. Okay, so 8 plus 2 minus 1 to 3. Okay, so what do you get? You get 19. So 8 plus 7, 19. Correct? Yes. So understand this, so that when it comes to problem time, it will be easy. Now four terms, we are finding four terms, and now you now four terms, and it starts here. You are asked to find the sum of this. So if you are asked to find this, this is a, right? Yes, sum of four terms, so this will become 4 by 2. Yes, and 2a will become 220, because a is 20, plus that formula. Okay, n minus 1, where n is 4 minus 1 into 3, where d is 3. Okay, now guys, you get 98. You add all this, I'm sure you'll get 98. Okay, so this is sum of arithmetic progression. Now, odd number of terms in an AP. Okay, so I want you to understand this very clearly. When there are odd number of terms in AP, and when there are even number of terms in AP, they are not the same things. You don't proceed the same way. Okay, I'll tell you what the reason is. Okay, let us assume we have odd number of terms here. So how many number of terms are there? 3, 6, 9, 11. We have 11 terms. 11 is odd, right, guys? So 11 is odd. Okay. So here, how we can write it in terms of A and D? Okay, how do we write this in terms of A and D? I'll tell you that. Okay, now it is very simple. When it is odd, the center value, okay, see, if we have 11, you'll all when it is odd, you'll always have a center value. What is the center value or term? This is the center term, right? Because here you have 5, here you have 5, this is the center, correct? Okay, when do you say something is in the center? When you have equal number of things on its left side and right side. Here now 30 has 5 terms on its left side and 5 terms on its right side, so we can say this is center. Okay, so this is the center point. Okay, so that will always be A. Okay, so A will always be the center point. Now this will become A plus D. Okay, so what is D here? D is 5, guys. D is 5, right? 30 plus 5 is 35. What is 25? This is 30 minus 5. So A minus D. Okay, so this will become A minus D. What is this term? How do you get 40? 30 plus 2D. Yes, 30 plus 2D. 2 into 5 is 10. So 30 plus 10 is 40. Okay, so this term is A minus 2D. Okay, so this is how we uh, name express it in form of A and D when odd number of terms are given. Okay, A plus 3D, this will become A minus 3D, A plus 4D, A minus 4D, and so on and so forth. A plus 5D, A minus 5D. Okay, see, why do we represent it this way? Okay, I'll tell you the reason, guys. Why don't we initially? Do you remember in the previous slides? I showed you something where it said A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D, A plus 4D. Why not we use that? Okay, why do we use this kind of representation? I'll tell you the reason. Okay, but right now, just know when it is odd, we represent it like this. Okay, now when it is even number of terms in an EP, what we do is now there is no center term. Yes, because there are 1, 4, 6. Guys, we have 10 terms here. Okay, so this is even. Okay, we have 10 terms, so this is even. So we won't have a center term. Okay, the center will lie somewhere around here. This is where the center will be. Okay, between 50 and 60. Okay, so what is the value that is between 50 and 60, guys? 55. Okay, now we'll take this value to be A. Okay, we'll take this value, which is 55, to be A. Now how, so that is A. Okay, so if you see that this is pointing towards no number. Okay, this is pointing towards towards the comma between 50 and 60. Okay, so that is A. A is 55. Okay, now how do we get to 60? It is plus 5, right? So that is D. So A plus D is nothing but 60. A minus D is nothing but 50. Yes, guys. Yes, so A plus D is 60, A minus D is 50. Okay, because D is 5. Okay, now how do I get to 70 from 55? From 55 to 70 is 3 times 15, right? 15 is 3 times 5. So 3D. Yes, so that is why here it is minus 3D. Here it is plus 3D. Okay. And it will be 5D, 5D, then 7D, 7D, then 9D, 9D. Okay. See how this is like A plus B, A plus 2D, A plus 3D. But here A plus D, A plus 3D, A plus 5D. Okay. So here it is increasing like this. Here it is increasing in a different way. So that is what I wanted to bring to your attention. Uh, that for odd number of terms and even number of terms. Okay, not for odd numbers and even numbers. Odd number of terms. Here there are 10 terms. Okay, so this has even number of terms. So we'll have to represent using this way only. Okay, here we have 11 terms. Okay, so we have odd number of terms, so we can represent only using this way. Okay, Now I told you, I promised I'll tell you the reason of why we represent it this way, right? Yes, so that I'll tell you that. Okay. Now geometric progression. Okay, there is one more progression that you guys need to be aware of. Okay, sometimes numbers will be like this: 2, 8, 24, 72, 216, guys, and so on like this. Now, if you take a close look, I multiplied 3, 2 into 3 is 8. Again, multiply it by 3, 8 into 3 is 24. Again, multiply it by 3, 24 into 3 is 72. Again, multiply it by 3, 72 into 3 is 216. Okay, so there in the arithmetic progression, there was a constant term that I added to each term of the series. Okay, here I am multiplying a constant term. Here see 3 3 3 3, it is constant, right? I am multiplying a constant term with each term of the series. Here we call the constant term as r. So in this example, r is 3. A is the same thing. Okay, it is the first term. Okay, so a is 2. Okay, so because we are multiplying, what happens is a, it becomes, first term is a 2. Yes, how do we get 8 into 3, right? So what happens is the next term becomes a into r. How do we get the next term? It becomes a into r square, because each time I am multiplying by 3, which is r. So each time you are multiplying with r. So that is why the series is ar square, ar cube. Okay, so this is called geometric progression, guys. The constant here is called r, and the first term is denoted by a. Okay, so examples you can see here: a is 1 and r is 3. Okay, so 1 into 3 is 3, 3 into 3 is 9, 9 into 3 is 27, 27 into 3 is 81, and so on and so forth. Okay, here a is half, and you are multiplying with half. Okay, so r is also half. Okay, so that is geometric progression. So the same thing is like how you found the nth term in nth term and sum of terms. Okay, so similarly for geometric progression also, you will have to find the nth term and the sum of terms. Okay, so the nth term in the series formula is, guys, Tn ar n minus 1. Okay, so if suppose let us take this series, you want to find the second term, what will you do? I'll T2 is equal to a is half, so I've substituted half. R, what is R? R is also half, so I've substituted R here. N is 2, so I put 2 here, minus 1. Okay, you solve it. Okay, you get 1 by 4. Second term is 1 by 4, right? Yes, so this is how we get the second term. Okay, we will find the fourth term. What should our answer be? For fourth term, our answer should be 1 by 16. Let's see if we're getting that. T4 is equal to A is half, R is half, 4, N minus 1, N is 4 minus 1 is, will give you 1 by 16. Fifth term, what should be the fifth term? Okay, let's see if we are getting the fifth term correctly. Okay, T5, half into 5 minus 1. 1 power 4, guys, is 1 by 16. So our answer is 1 by 32. Okay, so sum of the series in geometric progression. Okay, so there are two formulas here, one when r is greater than 1 and r is less than 1. Okay, so you have to use two different formulas. Look at the value of r. If it is greater than 1, use the first formula. Okay, a into r power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. If it is less than 1, the formula is a into 1 minus r power n divided by 1 minus r. Okay, here r power n minus 1. Instead of that, it is 1 minus r power n. Okay, here r minus 1. Instead of that, 1 minus r. Okay, so that is the only difference that you guys have to see. So you can see here r is 3, guys, greater than 1. So we have to use the first formula. What is a? Our a is 2. Okay, what is our r? R is 3. Okay, so substitute here. A, this 54 is, yes. Now see sum of terms. Okay, now we are not finding the sum of these two terms. Okay, we are finding the sum of these two terms. Now what is a? 54 is a, right? So 54 into 3, r is 3, n is 2, minus 1 by 3 minus 1, you get 216. Okay, what is 54 plus 162? 216. Yes, yes. So we are getting the answer. So let now again you are finding sum of these two terms. Now what is a? This is a, right? So 162, the same formula, a power n minus 1, n minus 1, you get 648. What is 162 plus 486, guys? It is 648. Now sum of two terms. Okay, now here r is negative, so which formula do you use? You use this second formula. Okay, so sum of two terms, you are finding the sum of these two terms. So this is a, guys. So minus 54, 1 minus 3 square. Square in this 2 indicates this 2. Okay, so see, you here we did 3 square minus 1, but here we are doing 1 minus 3 square because r is negative. Okay, so we have to use the second formula, 1 minus 3. Okay, so here we did 3 minus 1, here we are doing 1 minus 3 because of the formula. Okay, so you get minus 216. Minus 54 plus minus 162 is, what do you get? Minus 216. Okay, so minus, if you add minus 54 and minus 162, you will get minus 216. Okay, so how we had a formula, like, do you remember how we had a formula to find last digit of the arithmetic progression? Yes, and it was similar to the the last digit was similar to the nth term. Okay, so here also last digit you can find using ar n minus 1. Okay, so we'll just go back. I want you to go back. Now look at this, guys. If you have to find the nth term, what is formula? ar n minus 1, right? So last digit formula will be the same, right? Yes, in arithmetic progression also you saw. So the last digit, last term formula will be the same. Only thing you have to make sure is this n must be the last term. Okay, so the n must be equal to the last term. If you make sure that n is equal to the last term, then the value that you get here is the last term. Okay, so that is why here you can see the last digit has the same formula. Okay, here see, the L is the last term. See, I keep repeating, I keep saying last digit. It is not last digit, it is last term. Okay, okay. Now I just want to tell you geometric mean. Okay, a1, a2, a3, a4, a5 are consecutive terms of a geometric series. Okay, if you have a geometric series, then geometric mean is nothing but you multiply them and to the power 1 by n. Okay, where n is the number of terms. Okay, so I find very few problems in geometric means, or I should say I've never seen a problem in geometric mean, but it is good to know how to do those things, right? So just make note of this formula. Okay, so we jump into problems, guys. Find the number of zeros in this value. Okay, now you know the number of zeros directly depends on what? The number of 5's. You have to find the number of 5's. So in there will be, see, in 1 factor, 1 power 1, 2 square, 3 cube, 4 power 4, in those things there will be no 5's, right? Yes. So in 5 power 5 there will be 5 5's. In 10 power 10 there will be 10 5's. Yes. In 15 power 15 there will be 15 5's. In 20 power 20 there will be 20 5's. Correct, guys? Yes. See, in 20 is nothing but what? 4 into 5, right? So this 20 times will give you 25's. So that is why I've given 25's. Okay, but here you cannot write 25 5's. Okay, because 25 is nothing but what? 5 into 5. So in 125 you have 2 5's. So 25 25's you will have 50 5's. Okay, you must be careful about that part. Okay, Then you will have 30 5s in 30 power 30, 35 5s in 35 power 35, 40 5s in 40 power 40, 45 5s in 45 power 45. Okay, so this ends in 45. Okay, in 46, 47, 48 and all you don't have any 5s. Okay, so in the total there will be 250 5s and therefore 250 zeros, as number of zeros will always equal number of 5s. Okay, you add them all, you will get 250. Okay. Now the number of zeros at the end of the product of all prime numbers between 1 and 1111. Okay, 1111. Okay, what is the number of zeros? Okay, now if you've gone through my prime factorization video, okay, I would have told you or talked about something about a special quality that 2 and 5 has. 2 and 5 are prime numbers, right? Yes, 2 and 5 are prime numbers, guys. But 2 and 5 are the only prime numbers, okay, which has 2 and 5 or which ends in 2 and 5. Okay, there is no other prime number which ends in 2 and 5. Only 2 and 5 does that. Okay, now what does it mean? If you want zeros, you will need a number to end in 5, correct? Then only you can have zeros, right? So what happens here is, here you will have only 1 2. Yes, yes, if this, even if you have 5s, okay, how many you need 2s for it to, for the product to give you a 0, right guys? For you to get a 0, okay, you need 2s. Okay, but how many 2s will you have in prime numbers? Only 1 2, right? So the maximum number of zeros that you will get is 1 0. Okay, there will be only one combination of 2 and 5. Okay, because prime numbers, this is the only even prime number. Okay, so there will be only one combination of 2 and 5. Okay, so that is the reason why there will be only 1 0. Okay, what is the highest power of 91 that divides 78 factorial? Guys, you already know this. 90, highest power of 91. Okay, do you need to find 91? No, you divide it into 13 and 7. Okay, now you tell me, will the number of 7s be more or number of 13s be more in 78 factorial? See, 2 and 3, do you remember 2 and 3? Which was more? Number of 2s more or number of 3s more? Number of 2s were more. Okay, similarly, number of 7s will be more than number of 13s. So it is sufficient if you find the number of 13s alone. That will tell you how many 91s you can make, because 91 is a combination of 13 and 7. Okay, guys, this is like 10 is equal to 5 into 2. Okay, this is composite, this is also composite. Okay, so here you just need to find how many 5s were there to tell you how many zeros were there. Similarly here, how many 13s are there, so that you can find how many 91s are there. Okay, because the highest power of 91 that divides 78 factorial is nothing but the number of 91s in 78 factorial. So you have to find the number of 91s in 78 factorial. Okay, so that is, and you know how to find it. We've already done this. Okay, find the number of 13s. How do you find the number of 13s? So 78 divided by 13, you get 6. You don't do 78 divided by 13 square, because that would be 169, which is greater than 78. So you stop here. Okay, so 91 power 6 will divide 78 factorial. Okay, the number of 13s is 6, so number of 91 will also be 6. What is the greatest possible positive integer of n? So 8 power which number, will divide 44 power 44 without leaving a remainder? That is what they are asking. See, this you can, 44 can be written as 4 into 11, guys. Yes, so 4 power 44 into 11 power 44. So you have to find how many 8s are there in this. Okay, you have to find how many 8s are there in this. Surely there won't be any 8 in 11 power 44. Am I right? Yes. So how many 8s are there in 4 power 44, as there cannot be any 8s in 11 power 44. Okay. Now 4 power 44, I will write it as 4 square to the power 22. 16 power 22. 16 power 22 can be written as 2 power 22 into 8 power 22. So there are 22 eighths here, yes, but still there are some more eighths here. Okay, this can be written as 2 cube into 7 into 2 power 1 into 8 power 22. Guys, I'm just splitting up 2 power 22 into these two. Okay, now 2 cube is nothing but 8, so 8 power 7 into 8 power 22. So this is a total of, here there are 7 eighths and 22. 22 plus 7 is 29 eighths. Okay, so 29 is the answer. Find the maximum value of n such that 50 is perfectly divisible by 2520n. Okay, so guys, it is the same thing. Okay, so split up 2520, you will get 21 into 12 into 10, and as always you have to find the largest numbers power. Okay, you find how many 21s are there in this number, that is your answer. Okay, so this, all this we already know. Now if you have to find the number of 21s, it is sufficient if you find the number of sevens. Okay, so how do you find the number of sevens? 50 by 7, so you know this, right? So the answer is 8. Just go through this, you will understand it. The sum of 5 numbers in an AP is 30 and the sum of their squares is 190. Which of the following is the third term? Okay, they wanted to find the third term, guys. Look at the problem. Okay, sum of 5 numbers. 5 even or odd? 5 is odd. For odd, I told you we write it in a certain way, and that way is this way. Okay, A minus D, A minus 2D, A plus D, A plus 2D. The reason why we write it this way is, guys, why not we write it like this? Okay, at the initially we wrote it like this, right? A plus D, A plus 2D, right? We wrote it like this, plus 3D, right? But guys, look at this. I'm writing it like this so that when you do the sum, they've told you this, what is the sum of all this? They say it is 30, right? When you do the sum, this and this will get cancelled. This and this will get cancelled. All the D's will get cancelled. You are left with A alone. For this reason, we are writing it like this. Okay, you understand? Yes. So they have given sum to be 30. If you cancel it, you will get A to be 6. Guys, A is the first, A is the third term here. Okay, look at the first term, second term, third term. Okay, so our answer is 6. So again, this is actually a combination of two series. This is the first series and second series. You find the sums separately, okay, and then add them, you will get the answer. Okay, now you know this is the formula for sum, guys. But guys, you also know, I've told you last term formula, this can be split up, 2a can be split up into a plus a. Okay, now what is this a plus n minus 1 into d? This is L. Do you remember? L last term is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, so I will write this formula as n by 2 a plus L. Okay, but the only thing is this n should be the last term. Okay, or L should be the last term. So we could write it like this. So that is what I am doing here. See, this is the explanation. Okay, now see, n by 2, n is how many terms that you have. You have to count it from 1 to 99. You will have 50 terms. Okay, a is 1, this 1. Last term is 99 that you put here. Okay, then you get 2500. But in the second series, minus 2 to 98, it may seem like you have 50 terms, but actually you have only 49 terms. Okay, here you have 50 terms, guys, so you have to be careful about it. So 49 by 2, a is minus 2, L is minus 98. You will get the answer. You add them both, you will get 50 as the correct answer. So in the arithmetic progression, there are 6 terms and the sum is 3. The first term is 4 times third term. The fifth term is the progression is. Okay. So now there are 6 terms. So even terms. So we have to use that formula. Okay. So this is the formula that you have to use. So their sum is 3. Okay. So you will get 6a is equal to 3. A will be equal to half. Okay. Now they say the first term is 4 times the third term. This is the first term, right, guys? So a minus 5d is 4 times the third term. Okay, the third term is a minus d. So I've written a minus 5d is 4 times 4a minus d. So if you do the math, you will get, see, you will get d to be minus 3 by 2. So you have d's value, you have a's value, With this, you can find the fifth term. What is the fifth term? Fifth term is a plus 3d. Just substitute the values. You will get the answer to be minus 4. Value of 51 to 100. Okay, again, guys, here sum of arithmetic progression with a to be 51 and d to be 1. Okay, so I'll skip this sum. Okay, but I'll tell you the answer. Okay, 3775. Okay, you can check it out later. How many odd and even numbers are there between 42 and 400? You have to find the sum of the odd and even numbers, guys. So you have two series here. Okay, it is the same thing. Okay, you find that this is a series. This is a series. This series A is 42. Here it is 43. It is even series, odd series. So what is D? D will be 2, right? The value of D will be 2. Okay, now you have to first find, see, if you have to find the sum of the series, okay, see, sum of the series, you need this n value. Okay, for that you will first have to find n. How do you find n? There is a formula that you could derive from what we know. This is what we know, right? Now what I'm doing is take this a to this side. T power n, you are, guys, you are assuming this n to be the last term. Okay, where n is total terms. Okay, when n is total terms, this becomes Tn. Bring this a to this side, Tn minus a. Okay, now bring this d down, Tn minus a by d. Bring this 1 to this side. Okay, so n will be equal to Tn minus a. This is the last term, this is the first term, this is the common difference. So I have coined a formula just to solve this, just to get n. Okay, because only if you get n, you will be able to substitute in this formula. Okay, so this is the answer, guys. Again, find the sum of first 15 terms. Guys, in this series, they are asking to find the sum of first 15 terms. Okay, this is the first 15 terms. Okay, I've written down all the first 15 terms for you. So it alternates, see, alternating like this. So in that, this is a series AP with 8 terms. Now this is a GP. Okay, GP with how many terms? 7 terms. Okay, so you find the sum of these two things and you add it, you will get the answer. Okay, so for the sum of AP, you're getting 216. The sum of GP, you're getting 3279. Okay, add it, you get 3495. Okay, anyway, that's it, guys. So we'll catch you in another video.